There we go. Then I want to zoom in. All right, Quentin. But I thought it was based off of your father's father. No, I got you. I'm gonna break it down for you real quick. And it's a real easy breakdown if you want to understand it. So I'm gonna share three precepts: Old Testament, New Testament. All right. So Bible, King James. We're gonna go to Book of Numbers. So let's see, Book of Numbers. And I think it is chapter 2. It might be chapter 1. See, I don't want that. See, Book of Numbers, the Lord speaking to Moses, and Father's house. Let me go back to chapter 1 and see. See, Moses, the tabernacle, take the sum of the congregation, the family. Okay, so this the first precept that's going to help you to understand where this comes from. All right, so this is, I'm in the book of Numbers, the first chapter, first and second verse, right? This is the children of Israel after they've been brought out of the land of Egypt. Now, because we are 12 tribes, the tribes had to be separated. That's how you can figure out what your tribe is. We're still blood family, but you want to know who your tribe is. Okay? So, in Numbers, the first chapter, first verse, it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai." Now, if you don't know where Sinai is, Sinai, again, is that region right between the land of Israel and Egypt. So it's a part of Egypt, but it is a section that forms like a Y, right? And it says, "In the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day in the second month, in the second year after they come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Take ye some of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families, by the house of their fathers." So now you have these millions of people who are in the desert, right? We just left Egypt. We're now in the wilderness. So now to figure out who belongs to whom, you have to separate the 12 tribes, right? And you separate them based off of who the father is, not by who the mother is. All right? Then we'll go over to the book of Matthew in the New Testament. I'm sorry, let's go to Romans. Let me go to Romans. This is going to be another one that says Christ. This is going to talk about Christ's lineage. Let's see, Romans chapter, I think, 1. Yes, okay. So, in Romans chapter 1, we'll start at verse 1. But we really want to read verse 3. Okay? But I want you to understand lineage. In Romans chapter 1, verse 1, it says, "Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of God, which he had promised afore by the prophets in the Holy Scriptures, concerning his Son, Jesus Christ, who was made of the seed of David." So this is letting you know that Christ comes from a lineage of people. And you're asking pretty much the same question. How do you identify who you are based off of your lineage? Well, if you look at, now we're going to go into the book of Matthew's, the first chapter, right? And Matthew's, the first chapter, is speaking about Christ's lineage. All the men that he stems from. All this gets traced back to David. And of course, you can go beyond David into or Moses. You can track that lineage, right? But I want you to understand this is talking about the seed of the Father, the seed of David. That seed is talking about that secretion that comes out of your rod, right? Where babies come from, right? That is the seed that is speaking about. So let's go to the book of Matthew's. All right, the very first chapter, very first verse. What does this say? The book of the generations of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Right? So it not only mentions David, but it goes even further into Abraham. And as you know, when you get into later chapters like 12, 13, 14, that's when Abram steps on the scene. Abram's name later gets changed to Abraham. And it is just part of Israelite culture to have your name changed according to what your spirit is. So even with Jacob, Jacob's name was changed to Israel, right? Why? Because the word Israel means to, it is based off of him fighting this angel in his dreams and him beating the angel, right? So since he was able to beat the angel, his name means prince with power. He had the power to overcome something that is way more powerful than he is. And those angels are extremely powerful, right? Angels have the ability to cause natural disasters such as floods and snowstorms and all kind of madness, right? But let's read just a few. I'm not going to read all this. I'm just going to read a few in terms of Christ's lineage, right? So again, it says in Matthew chapter 1, verse 1 says, the book of the generations, meaning his lineage of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. All right, so we're talking about his grandfather's removed many generations. So when it starts off, the very first person that it mentions is Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac begot Jacob. Jacob begot Judah. This lets you know that Christ comes from the lineage of Judah, right? This is Christ's lineage. I come from the loins of Judah, right? So the same way these men are Christ's father, they are my father as well. They're all the 12 tribes as father, but this is speaking to the lineage. This is speaking to the specific tribe of Judah. All right? So as Abraham begot Isaac, Isaac begot Jacob, Jacob begot Judah and his brethren. Then as we keep going down, as you keep reading, it talks about all the fathers who had sons. So in the very next verse, it says, and David the king begot Solomon. Again, it says Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. So far we've covered Christ's lineage from Abraham, and now we're talking about David. So as it says, Jesse begot David the king. Then it says, and David the king begot Solomon, and that he had been wife to Uriah, and Solomon got, and it just keeps going and going and going and going, right? So as you go down to verse 16, I'm sorry, let's see, 16, so generations of David. Okay, so in 17 it says, so all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David unto the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away into Babylon into Christ are 14 generations. So you have 28 generations far removed between Christ, and you got 14 between Christ and David, and then 28 when you look at Abraham.